a great crusade produced by the Radio and Television Apostolate in cooperation with the St. Louis Review presents Quiz a Catholic, a religious quiz program designed to lead men closer to God to a better understanding of things Catholic.
Hello, friends. This is Lee Cavanagh welcoming you once again to Quiz a Catholic. And now, just in case this is the first time you've seen our program, a word of explanation about how we play Quiz a Catholic. First thing we do is to invite you folks watching the program at home to send us subjects to be used on the program. What kind of subjects? Let's take a look at this list over here. They can be either events, well, I'm starting in the middle, but starting at the top, objects or practices, events, as we mentioned, personalities, or teachings. And we suggest that you send us in a good subject in one of those 5 categories. And then, if it's selected for use on the program, and if our panel does not identify it in a period of 3 minutes, then you receive one of these statues of Our Lady of Television. Now, we'll tell you more about that later on in the program. Right now, let's go to work on the program and meet the members of our Quiz a Catholic panel here today. First of all, there at the left of your television screen, and right in the middle of your television screen at the moment, is a familiar gentleman. He's in the real estate business in St. Louis, and his name is Tom O'Toole. Hi, Tom.
Hey, how are you?
Fine. I understand you have a lot more respect now for your Irish ancestry since you learned the full story of the life of St. Lawrence O'Toole.
I didn't know the full story before, but I do now. Go and ask me a question.
Very illustrious member of the O'Toole family. Happy to see you again, Tom. And we have another gentleman named Tom right next to you on Quiz a Catholic today. He's Mr. Thomas J. McCarthy in the insurance business, and he's a director of Boys Town of Missouri. He's got 3 little McCarthys at home. Hi, Tom McCarthy. How are you?
Good morning, Lee.
You are a director of Boys Town of Missouri?
That's right, Lee. Director and help out a little bit.
Well, that's a wonderful work. What, you got boys at home, too?
No, Lee, I'm sorry to say I live with 4 women, 3 young daughters and a wife.
Well, you keep a balance there with Boys Town.
That's
I bet
right.
all the McCarthys are watching today and seeing how Papa's going to do on Quiz a Catholic. Well, we're happy to see you, Tom. Let's move along now to the next member of our panel on Quiz a Catholic today, Miss Nellene Zeis, who's research manager with an advertising agency. Hi, Nellene.
Good morning, Lee.
Been doing a lot of traveling these days?
I'm kind of worn out.
Well, nice to have you in St. Louis on this particular program. And nice to have you this morning, and hope you have an enjoyable half hour in the next 29 minutes here. And finally down there we have, from St. Louis University, Vic Staudt, who's known for his charming smile. Is that right, Vic?
That's correct, Lee.
Boy, you sure look smiley this morning. Okay, we've met the members of our panel. See, I'd like to mention just something in passing. A number of folks have asked us and written us, what happened to a gentleman named Dick Meehan, who was on the program quite a number of times. Well, he's on a leave of absence, involved in a political campaign, and we'll be seeing him again later on, so about a month or so hence. Well, right now we're very happy to welcome as our special priest expert here on Quiz a Catholic today, Father Rowland Gannon, the Executive Secretary of the Archdiocesan Finance Committee, Assistant Superintendent of Archdiocesan High Schools, and Chaplain of the Sisters of Notre Dame Mother House. Father Gannon, welcome to Quiz a Catholic.
Thank you, Lee. Very happy to be here.
Well, shall we go right to work on our panel without any further ado at the moment? Good. Okay, here's our first subject now, which was sent in by Mrs. S.G. Payne of 1123 Hilltop Drive in Olivet, Missouri, and this is a personality.
When the mothers brought their children to Christ, the apostles thought it was an imposition, but Christ manifested his love for the little ones by saying, "Suffer the little children to come unto me, for the kingdom of heaven is for such." This personality is those children who gathered about Christ.
All right, for our personality, suppose we start down the other end of the line there with Vic Staudt.
Okay, Lee, is this a specific singular type personality?
A singular specific type No.
I thought.
Is this a group, Lee?
Yes.
There are men and women in the group?
No, there are not, Tom O'Toole. Tom McCarthy, how about you?
Is this a real group?
Yes.
A group of religious?
Religious in the sense of being members of religious order, we'd have to say no and move along to Nellene Zeis.
Do at least some of these exist today, Lee?
No, they do not, Nellene. We're open for general questioning now.
Do they have any biblical origins?
Yes.
New Testament?
Right.
And this group, did they come in contact with each other?
With each other?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, uh-huh.
And did they come in contact with Christ?
Yes, they did.
Take it away, somebody.
Do we connect this with an event in Christ's life?
Yes, we do.
In his public life?
Yes.
Before the Passion, perhaps?
Yes.
connect it with any miracle?
No, there was no miracle, was there, Father?
Are they all adults?
No, they were not.
The little
Are they all
children
children?
that
Yes, they are
suffer the
children.
little children to come unto me? Is that the group?
The children at the well?
Now, wait a minute. I want to get this straight. Now, you're talking about a biblical reference, Vic. Suffer
Yeah.
the little children to come unto me. Who are the personalities we're looking for?
The group of children who were invited to come to him.
Well, we can't dangle this answer anymore. You
Oh,
got
you're
it.
hard to
That's
get
right. The children who gathered about Christ on the particular occasion when he uttered those words. Right, Father?
That incident, rightly, that incident is one of the interesting incidents in our Blessed Lord's life, because on that particular occasion, the mothers who happened to be around brought their children to our Blessed Lord. The apostles, on the other hand, didn't want the children to bother Christ, and so they tried to not permit them to come to him. But instead, our Blessed Lord reacted in this way. He said, "Suffer the little children to come to me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." And there we have an example, I think, of our Blessed Lord's approachableness, his humanness, and the fact that he, on every occasion, shows patience. I think it can be an example for us, too, because we should be just, those who are dealing with children should be just as patient and as kind with them as Christ was with the children.
Well, fine, Father Gannon. Thanks very much. Let's move along now with subject number 2. The panel did right well on that first one. This one was sent in by W.J. Walter at 4407 Virginia in St. Louis, and this is a practice.
St. Anthony of Padua, a Franciscan monk, lived in the 13th century. During his lifetime, he performed many wonderful miracles in order to relieve suffering and anxiety. Because of his tenderness and compassion, people have traditionally prayed to him, asking help in regaining lost possessions.
All right, now, for this practice, Tom O'Toole, suppose we start with you.
Okay, Lee, is this practice performed by clergy and laity alike?
Yes,
And is it likely to happen to me?
could very well.
Would I be apt to perform this more than once a year?
Could do that, too, yes.
Would I do it in church?
You might. I mean, I don't know all these things about you for sure, but I think it's a good guess.
Well, thanks for your confidence.
I would give you a yes on that. You could do it in church.
It doesn't have to be done in church.
That's right.
Is this a form of prayer?
Yes, it is.
Form of prayer. And there is no particular place where I'd perform this normally?
It could be almost any place, I think.
How about a time of day?
Uh,
Would I perform it?
let's see, are you asking, is it performed at a specific
Yeah,
time of day? Well, we'll give you a no then. I sneak you into that one, Tom.
I walked right into it, I think.
Okay, Tom McCarthy, suppose you take over.
Is this a mental prayer? In other words, no physical action?
Well, we'd have to say yes to that. It most ordinarily would be. I mean, it wouldn't require physical action, put it that way.
Is it something you do, such as an action? You say that all your actions of this day will be offered up as a prayer?
No, we wouldn't be able to describe this practice that way, Tom, so we'll move along to Nellene.
Would it be likely that this would be a daily prayer for some people?
Well, it'd be hard to tell, but I guess it could be. You got 2 minutes to go.
Would it be not connected with any particular time of the year?
That's correct. It's not connected with the time
Is
of
this a prayer for something, a
Yes.
prayer of petition?
Mm-hmm.
Is it distinguishable by the thing that's prayed for? I mean, is that the type of prayer we're looking for?
Yes, we have to say
Is
yes.
this a prayer for a thing or a condition rather than for a person?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Is it for a thing?
Well, yes. 1 minute to go.
Praying for a thing. Is this a prayer for a job?
Not for a job or anything like
Is
that.
this prayer likely to be addressed to any particular person?
Yes, it is.
And would it be a saint?
It would be a saint.
And would it be a prayer trying to recover a lost object?
Yes.
St. Anthony, perhaps?
St. Anthony. It says right here in the card Mr. Walter sent in, praying to St. Anthony to help us in finding lost articles. Right, Father?
Right. That was a very excellent discovery, Vic. St. Anthony was a 13th century priest. And during his lifetime, he was very helpful to all of those who were around him And consequently, when he died, being known as a great saint, people prayed to him for his help so that they might find lost articles. This practice began in Italy shortly after the death of St. Anthony, and it continued on down the centuries until these days, whenever you find anybody, any Catholic at any rate, who has lost something, usually they turn to St. Anthony for assistance. And the practice is certainly worthwhile, because I'm certain that most Catholics can tell you that although it's not an infallible way of finding something, it certainly helps.
Little prayer we used to learn in school, Father. Dear St. Anthony, please come around. Something's lost and can't be found. Okay, our panel identified that subject, both of them now. We haven't given away any statues. Let's go to work on another one here where you folks at home can kind of play along with the panel. In other words, we won't show you what the subject is on your screen. See if we can beat them in 3 minutes. You'll both, the panel and you, will just know what the category is. This was sent in by William Hennick of 7715 Wooddale Lane in Normandy. This is an object, and let's see, Tom McCarthy, suppose we start off with you.
An object? Is this a specific object?
Yes, it is, Tom.
Is it real?
Real, yes.
Can it be found in the church?
In the church, we'd have to say no to that, Tom, and move along to Nellene.
Does this perhaps not exist today?
It probably does not exist, yes.
Is it perhaps biblical?
Yes.
New Testament?
Yes.
Did our Lord come in contact with it?
Yes.
Do we connect it with an event in our Lord's life?
Yes.
In his public life?
Yes.
In his passion?
Yes.
An object. Is this a manufactured object?
Yes. In this,
Would this be, let's see. Would this object have come in contact with Christ while he was hanging on the cross?
No, it would not, Nellene. Boy, you did some good work on that one. We're going to move along to Vic Staudt now.
This object cloth by any chance?
No, afraid not. Tom O'Toole?
Is this metallic, Lee?
Metallic, no. No, I mean, we can say without much fear of contradiction that it was not, huh, Father?
That's right.
So we're open for general questions.
Would it be mineral?
It would probably be mineral, yeah, without
Liquid?
Not liquid, no.
Does this object appear in our life's Christ prior to the crucifixion itself?
Prior to the crucifixion, yes.
Is the event that we connect this object with mentioned in any of the Stations of the Cross?
In the Stations of the Cross? No, it isn't.
No. In any of the mysteries of the sorrowful mysteries of the Rosary?
Yes.
Let's see, the scourging at the pillar?
Yes.
Is it the scourge?
No, it is not, Nellene.
It would be the crown of thorns.
No.
Would it be
An object.
1 minute to go.
it's
Oh, you're
the
so
sponge with vinegar? Or?
No.
Oh, this,
Oh.
an object. It's
Now,
it's not a part of the scourge?
No, it is not. But it is involved in the
The sword.
Not the sword, no.
It wouldn't be a garment.
Not a garment.
Is this stone?
Yes.
Yes. I should give it to him. But
Oh,
it doesn't.
you're so
The
close.
stone in which where our Lord knelt?
Where he knelt?
Well, the one he was tied to when he was scourged? I don't know the...
Well, you got it. I think I was just being a little bit rough with Tom McCarthy, but the panel has got it, the pillar of stone at which Christ was scourged. Right under the wire on the time, too.
That was very good. The pillar at which our blessed Lord was scourged it has been the object of great honor on the part of all Christians. The scourging of Christ occurred, of course, just before his crucifixion. He had been brought from Herod to Pilate, and Pilate, knowing that Christ was innocent, tried in some way to get rid of this person without condemning him to death. And so he scourged him. He tied our blessed Lord's hands to a pillar, and there, with whips, at the end of which were thongs, and which was a very brutal thing, our blessed Lord was scourged. And after that, he was brought before the people and then condemned to die. I think it's important for us to realize that our own sins contributed to the scourging of Christ. And every time we sin, we're adding to that scourging.
All right. Thank you, Father Gannon. I'd like to take a moment out here now, since our panel has been so adroit in identifying these subjects this morning. You folks at home, will you help us out? Send in real rough subjects to give these people a lot of trouble, will you? No, I'm just kidding, but if you have any thoughts on subjects, Tom doesn't believe I was kidding, and I really wasn't, I guess. But anyway, we'd like to hear your suggestions for subjects to be used on Quiz a Catholic. Remember, they fall in those 5 categories: objects, events, personalities, teachings, and practices. And send any subjects that you might have in mind to Quiz a Catholic in care of the station you're watching right now. And if your subject is used on the program and the panel does not identify it in 3 minutes, then you will receive one of these beautiful little statues of Our Lady of Television, the patroness of the Catholic radio and television apostolate. So remember, send in your subjects to Quiz a Catholic in care of the station you're watching right now. Okay, there's one that's going to give them a little trouble. This was sent in by Mrs. Marie Kurz of 5715 Itasca in St. Louis, and this is a teaching.
The 4th commandment requires that all men must respect their lawful superiors because their authority comes directly from God. The virtue of respect fosters harmony and is absolutely necessary for true peace among men.
All right, this is one of those teachings, and they're sometimes hard to pin down. This is no exception, and we're going to start as a special favor with you, Nellene Zeis.
Gee, thanks. Does this teaching involve an obligation on our part, Lee?
Yes, it does.
Would it be contained in the 10 Commandments?
Yes, pretty directly, yes.
Does it have anything to do with man's relation to his fellow man?
Yes, it does.
Does it have anything to do with the respect for private property?
No. At last we can give you a no and move on to Vic Staudt. Smiling Vic Staudt, that is. Oh, Vic!
This teaching, Lee, does this occur in the first half of the 10 Commandments?
Yes, it does.
Have anything to do with obligation toward parents and superiors?
Yeah, it sure does.
And would it have anything to do... I pass.
Oh, gee. Well, okay, I'll... Go ahead, Tom O'Toole.
Well, does it have to do specifically with our parents?
Well, we'd say partially, I guess, wouldn't we, Father?
Okay, that's right.
We're playing a dirty trick on them, but keep going.
Keep going.
Don't let that mislead you.
I'm going to be generous, let the other
Well,
panel members get it.
Okay, Tom McCarthy.
I had a funny feeling, Lee, when Dick passed, that it could be concerned with our teachers in school.
Well, they would be partially involved again.
Well, then it would be the respect that we owe to all superiors.
Boy, you are so right, Tom McCarthy.
Very good.
It's almost in the exact words. It's a teaching the obligation to show respect for lawful superiors. Very, very good. That's a rough one, too, wasn't it, Father?
That was. It was a very difficult one, Lee, but the panel got it very well. The obligation to show respect for all superiors is, of course, another way of stating the 4th commandment of God. The 4th commandment specifically says, honor thy father and thy mother. But it implies honor and respect not only to our mothers and fathers, but also to all lawful superiors. This, of course, means that we have an obligation to show respect for everyone who participates in the authority of God. And that's the reason that all superiors have rights over us, is that their obligation, their authority, comes from God. We might say very well that these days we say that children, for example, seemingly are showing less respect for superiors. I wonder if the reason is not because we, from whom they should take their example, are showing less respect for our superiors.
Thank you, Father. We're going to move along with another subject here real fast now, because we've got to bowl these guys over before the program's finished, don't we? Here's a subject, and this was sent in. We're very happy to receive it from Mother Mary Cecilia of Corpus Christi School out in Jennings. And this is a personality.
St. Thomas Aquinas, a 13th century Dominican priest, is the patron of all Catholic schools. His writings demonstrate an inspired knowledge of God and a great understanding of the nature of man. For over 700 years, philosophers and theologians have followed the principles outlined by Thomas Aquinas.
Tom McCarthy, sure, and you did so well in the last one, you can start the next one.
I knew you were going to do that to me, Lee.
The dirty trick, isn't it?
Is the personality.
Yes.
Is this a specific personality?
Yes.
Is the person living?
No. Nellene?
Is the person a saint?
Yes.
Is he perhaps lived since biblical times?
Yes.
Is it a man?
Yes.
Member of the clergy?
Yes.
Member of a religious order?
Yes.
Would
Feel
he
like I'm
perhaps
guessing.
be a doctor of the church?
Yes.
Did he live in the 13th century?
Yes.
St. Thomas Aquinas?
Yes. I feel like I'm hissing at that girl all morning. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, that's terrific. 45 seconds or so, huh, Father?
That was very, very good.
Want to tell us a little bit about St. Thomas Aquinas, Father?
Well, St. Thomas Aquinas, like St. Anthony, whom we just discussed, was a 13th century priest. St. Thomas was a Dominican. And undoubtedly he's been chosen, St. Thomas has been chosen as one of the greatest intellects of all times by all people. Vic, who is a teacher, could certainly testify to that. St. Thomas has been known, and is on the part of Catholics known, as the patron of all Catholic schools and of all who attend school. He's been known as the greatest intellect because of the fact that he was constantly searching after truth. And it's important for us to realize that he used common sense. The very teachings of the church today are based upon the teachings of St. Thomas. When a child learns catechism, he's learning St. Thomas's teaching. And all of us can, like St. Thomas, search after truth.
All right, Father, fine. Let's go to work on one. This will give him some trouble, I hope. This was sent to us by Eugene Kennisnecht, I believe the name is, 1427 Illinois Avenue over in East St. Louis. This is an event.
History books tell us about the material preparations made by Columbus and his crew before they set sail on their expedition. The log of the Santa Maria also notes that Columbus and his entire crew prepared spiritually for the voyage by attending Mass to ask God's blessing on their voyage.
And for this event, we go first to Vic Staudt.
Okay, Lee, this event, is it singular rather than a recurring event?
Yes.
And we can locate it chronologically, no doubt.
Yes.
And it would have antedated 1000 A.D.
No.
Wouldn't have done that. I passed.
Tom O'Toole, you were passed.
Can we locate this event geographically?
Yes.
Did it take place prior to 1900?
Yes.
Did it take place in Europe?
Yes.
Did it take place in Italy?
No. Tom McCarthy?
Portugal.
No. Nellene?
I guess we better stay on that geographic track. Did it take place on the continent?
Yes.
France?
No. Open for general questioning.
Is this a founding of a religious order?
No, it was not, Tom.
Is this an event we're likely to celebrate as something joyous or good? Friendly?
Well, I certainly would consider it that way. 2 minutes to go.
Was it some kind of a revelation?
A revelation? No.
Does it take place in Spain?
Yes, it did.
Does it take place prior to 1600?
Yes.
Were there a lot of people involved in this?
Well, how many's a lot? Yes.
Armies of some
Huh?
kind?
Armies? No, not that many people.
It wasn't the Inquisition, was it?
No.
What happened in Spain?
A lot of things.
Do we connect it primarily with any particular person?
Yes.
How about Columbus?
Yes.
Columbus is setting forth from Spain?
That's not the exact specific event we are looking for.
Queen Isabella's sponsoring of Columbus's journey?
Nope.
It's the condemnation of Columbus in Spain?
Nope.
His
1 minute
death?
to go. No.
He died over here, didn't he? Oh.
I don't know. It doesn't say on my card.
Let's see now.
Elizabeth getting the money together for him?
No.
Spoken like a true son of Boys Town.
Thank you, Tom.
No, we had
there was no advertising on this program.
Well, is it one of his voyages specifically?
That's not exactly the event we're looking for. No, 30 seconds to go.
Does this event actually involve Columbus physically?
Yes.
His being put in prison?
No.
Involve any other famous persons?
No, I don't think we'd associate any others.
The prayer with which he set out on his journey.
Prayer? I guess we'd have to say partially.
The naming of the ship?
No.
The patronage, did he put it under some special saints?
No. That's not what we're looking for.
Partially the prayer. The intention to honor God?
Pardon?
The intention to honor God with his exploration?
No, that's not it specifically. I'm afraid our time is up. We did say it involved a prayer partially, right? This was the Mass said before Columbus left on his voyage.
That's what I meant.
Right, Father?
The Mass which was said before Columbus sailed for America was a very important event. Columbus got together all of his crew and marched in open procession through the streets to a monastery where the Mass was celebrated. Before the Mass, the sailors in Columbus went to confession. During the Mass, they received Holy Communion, and then they proceeded to go out to the ships, and at 1/2 an hour before dawn, Columbus gave the order to spread the sails in the name of Christ, and then he took off for America.
So, there we are. At least we gave away one statue of Our Lady of Television. Goes to Eugene Kennisneck, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing that, 1427 Illinois Avenue over in East St. Louis, for stumping the panel with the Mass said before the voyage of Columbus. I guess we don't even have time for a quickie this morning, do we? Oh, maybe about 30-second quickie. Let's try it real fast. Sent to us by Mr. John Slama of 2625 Virginia in St. Louis. It's a personality. Give you about 30 seconds.
Dead?
Yes. Sainted? No.
Specific?
No. Yes.
Man?
Yes.
Clergy?
No.
Did he know Christ?
No.
Old Testament?
No.
New Testament?
Yes.
St. Patrick.
No.
Apostle?
No.
He's not saying.
How much time we got?
Was he,
Disciple?
No.
was he against Christ?
Not directly, physically.
Was he some kind of a criminal?
Yes.
Barabbas?
Yes. Oh, boy, that's right. Barabbas, the one who at the Passion of Christ, the crowd asked that he be released rather than Christ. We're going to have to run now. Our time is just about up. We do want to say thanks so much to Father Rowland Gannon for being our special guest this morning. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you come back real soon, Father.
Thank you.
And to the members of our panel, Tom O'Toole, Tom McCarthy, Nellene Zeis, and Vic Staudt, thanks so much for being with us and doing such a grand job here this morning on Quiz a Catholic. Now, we just want to say another word about how you, too, can take part in Quiz a Catholic. Don't forget to send us your subjects, event, teaching, practice, personality, or teaching. And send them to Quiz a Catholic in care of the station you're watching right now. If the panel does not identify your subject in 3 minutes, you receive one of these statues of Our Lady of Television. Quiz a Catholic in care of the station you're watching right now. Lee Cavanagh thanking you for watching today on Quiz a Catholic.
The Great Crusade has presented Quiz a Catholic, produced by the Catholic Radio and Television Apostolate of St. Louis. The Great Crusade is brought to you each Sunday through the cooperation of the St. Louis Review and station KWK-TV. Production staff of the Great Crusade includes Father Francis J. Matthews, Catherine Walsh, and Jim Hennessy. Join us again next week when the Great Crusade will again present Quiz a Catholic.